Welcome, viewers, artists, and all those alike, to another stream of Art Lounge Alley. This is Figure Drawing Basics Part 49. I'm your host. I will be jumping into today's session briefly, but first, I would like to introduce newcomers to the Patreon page, the Art Lounge Alley Patreon page. It's going to be a quick rundown of the tiers. I'm not going to get into too much detail. You guys are always welcome to check out the Patreon page. It's listed in the About section of the Twitch channel. So, and if you have any questions, as always, I'm happy to answer them. Just send them away in chat or any of the social media platforms, and I'll write you back. So first one, Tier 1, Official Patron. Show your support for the Art Lounge Alley. You get access to the Discord server, and your patron name is listed in the credits. That's right. I'm going to do credits at the end of the stream once you guys start pledging, and your name will be listed there as a thank you. Next, we got Tier 2, All Access Patrons, $5 per month. This tier, you get access to all of my work. Get to see behind the scenes, things that I'm working on. You get exclusive content, things that I'm not going to be posting on any other social media platform aside from Patreon. You guys get early access to finished pages, so anything that I do, I'm going to first upload it to Patreon for you guys to see, for you guys to check out, see the progress, videos and everything pretty much. You guys are going to get access to it first. Also, you're going to get all the previous tier benefits, so access to the Discord server and your name listed in the credits. Next, we got Tier 3, Critique Submission tier. This is where it gets interesting. All of you who want to be part of the for all of you who want to be part of the Art Lounge Alley, you guys can submit your work, something that you're working on. Starting with this tier, $15 per month. You could do it only once if you're just interested in submitting once and cancel before the next month starts, or earlier, I believe. But for $15, you will get a live critique on stream on Fridays. I'm going to start doing critiques on Fridays for 2 hours from 8 until 10. And I'm going to be showing you guys ways you could improve your drawing, things that you could do to make it look even better, and anatomy, that sort of thing. Just in general, give you guys some tips and tricks on how you can improve your drawing, and as well as promote your social media. So if you got something that you're posting to and you want to get more followers, you want to get more people interested in your work, it's a perfect opportunity to do that as well. I highly encourage you guys to read through them, as this is a quick overview. Next, we got Kickstarter patrons, $25 per month. You could do it only once if you'd like. I will do a high resolution digital painting of you, and I encourage you guys to wear masks, makeup, glasses, make expressive faces. Hats and accessories are all highly encouraged, but not required. You could send me a simple photo of you from your head down to your chest, and I'll do a high resolution digital painting live on stream, and that's going to be on Thursdays for 2 hours. And once it's done, I'm going to send that to you, and you could use it for whatever you'd like. Make it your social media profile, send it to a loved one. Choices are yours. Next, we got Tier 4, Artist Promotion, $25 per month as well. It's meant for intermediate or advanced artists. If you guys want to get some promotion time on stream, want to be part of the Art Lounge Alley community, and just spread your work out, this is a perfect opportunity for you. You get 5-minute airtime at the beginning of the stream where I'm going to promote you. I'm going to play the video that is required for this tier. You got to send a 5-minute video just talking about your work or whatever it is that you're really doing. You could make it just an interesting film, whatever it is. There's some tips here, there's some ideas for you guys to get a better understanding of what this tier is and some of the requirements and that sort of thing. So read through it, and as I mentioned, write to me if you got any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. Next, we got Tier 5, Private Tutoring, 15 people max. $65 per month. You get 4 personalized videos per month, 1 video per week, showing you where you can improve on what you submit. There's going to be homework I'm going to assign you guys. It's so that you can improve and get better. That sort of thing. I'll also be sending you a PSD file of what I'm going to be working on top of. So if you submit something, I'm going to be working on top of that. I'm going to be showing you ways you can improve it, that sort of thing. And that PSD file is for you. You could do whatever you like with it. Explore it at your own pace, at your own time, play around with layers, that sort of thing. And this tier is open to everybody. So if you're a beginner all the way up to advanced, you have an opportunity to join this tier. So that pretty much does it, y'all. As I mentioned, you could always access this and read through it to get a better understanding. And with that said, let's jump into today's stream. Unfortunately, I'm still, depends on how you look at it. I'm enjoying it. I am still working on this sketchbook. I've been saying it for a week that I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna have it all finished, and I'm gonna start a new sketchbook. That whole thing, but it looks like it's stretching on. I'm gonna bring up chat right now. Oh, look at that. Pretzel is back to posting a bunch of video information on the chat screen. Whoopee. I'm gonna have to work that out. I'm gonna have to sign up for their no chat spamming. So this week is going to be a pretty exciting week. There's going to be some special intro coming your way tomorrow. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for the project stream at 9 p.m. I'm going to be doing a special intro. It ties into something that happened over the weekend. And I'm really excited to show you guys. It's going to be a really cool video with lots of different information, different pictures, talking about this artist. And also, there's going to be some new content up on the Patreon page, so keep your eye out for that as well. I'm going to be posting that on other social media platforms. But for today's lesson, it's going to be pretty much continuation. I'm going to try to finish up by filling up these pages. I was doing this Friday, so I'm going to try to fill up around here, fill up this page as well, and I believe that's going to be it. So today might be the day. I'm going to go through all the pages one more time. Yeah, actually it is going to be the day, because next stream is going to be drawing comics. I'm going to be finishing up this, pretty much. So I'm going to be finishing up her face. But that's it. There's no more space to do any more panels. So today, I am officially going to start a brand new sketchbook. Huh, look at that. Didn't even realize that has to be the case. Just trying to check out and see what other pages could be filled up. These pages, I know some of you are looking at it and they're like, look at all the space on here. Why not do it there? But I do plan on uploading these pages that do have space all over to the Patreon page as content for you guys to draw regarding anatomy, that sort of stuff, including this page as well. Just content for you guys to print out and draw, over and over and over again. As I mentioned, you're when you were learning the alphabet, you had to do it several times. It wasn't just once where you got the content. And even still, I draw a lot of the stuff out, and I still need to draw it more often to get better and better understanding of it. The goal is to get it. So however long it takes you, how many takes, it doesn't matter. The point is to eventually get the content. I can honestly say that doing these kind of drawings really helps in other areas. So if I'm drawing from imagination, it's really good in order to be able to create these figures, in order to make sure that they are anatomically, proportionally correct, that sort of thing. So yeah, there's always that.
Hey man, what you say? I can hear you thinking, man.
Gonna see if I could fit a figure in this. I'm not too thrilled about this page, the head examples. They're just quick demonstrations talking about like the proximity range of the eye to the nose, how weird that's gonna look. So just examples there. For example, here you got the eyebrow, you got the nose, so you have to make sure that the eye, the outwards eye, isn't way too far out. It is kind of going to be more inwards, and when the head is in 3/4 view, the nose kind of blocks it. If the camera is facing the person that is in 3/4 view, the nose tends to cast a shadow over part of it, and the inside of the eye tends to be tucked kind of underneath the bridge of the nose. You don't want to show the inside of the eye in a 3/4 view like that. It's just, in terms of like physics, it just kind of works that way, and the nose protrudes out of the face, so it does have to, just by that nature, it covers up a portion of the eye. So when you draw it out like that and you show the inside of the eye, you could see that the drawing kind of looks weird, right? And it's not going to be in its full size, if as it is, let's say, in a front view. So you have to make it a little bit smaller, and you have to make it look like it's curving. Like if you were to, let's say, take some clay, right, and you were to lay that small shape of an eye over the circle. Let's say you just have a circle of clay, and you have like a little piece of clay that is an eye shape. If you were to apply that to the face, you would have to smoothen it, or not smoothen it rather, but curve it according to the shape of the circle. So by that nature, it's going to curve around, and depending on how the camera is looking at it, let's say in this example, 3/4 view, you wouldn't see the other end of that piece of clay that's shaped like the eye. So it's the same idea here. When you're drawing it, you're just basically portraying that. So here it's more of an accurate example. You could see that it's not entirely its full shape, that it tends to be a little bit more tapered off towards the end because it is curving inwards slightly. So yeah, these kind of just demonstrate that I'm not super thrilled about the page, so I am planning to just kind of work over it, paying no attention to the drawings. And once again, just fighting against that urge to always have space for every single drawing. It's a sketchbook. You're practicing stuff. And it's kind of good to train your eye to kind of see in chaos, you know, because it can get chaotic, especially if you're drawing panels, you know, you're drawing comic, you're not drawing things out immediately, fleshed out, perfect, and distinguishable. In the beginning, you're creating these figures, right? You're creating these parameters of the figures by drawing these shapes, drawing the stick figures, drawing things all over, just to make sure that everything fits in a panel. It looks pretty chaotic, you know, there are lines everywhere in a sense. So you have to kind of get used to seeing all that and seeing structure within that, kind of distinguishing all those lines and knowing, okay, all these lines are for the figure, all these other lines are the background, all these other lines are for the figure in the foreground or the background, overlapping this, that, or the other. So the more you train your eye to be able to do that, the better it is for you. You know, it doesn't become overwhelming, and you could actually make the right choices to create the panel out, create the scene the way you want it to be. So I kind of take it as an opportunity to practice all that, you know, overlapping these drawings, despite them being completely unrelated to each other. It's just a way to train the eye to be able to just handle that sort of chaos, the visual chaos. I think I had some sort of like free trial with Pretzel where it showed, here's what it's like not having a bunch of songs spamming your chat. It's a way to like net you into paying for like premium or whatever. I'm not saying it's not worth it. It is worth it. You know, they're creating all this music that isn't copywritten or copy protected or whatever it is. It makes the stream more fun. It's worth it. I will be subscribing to it very soon. It's also a bigger library, so you guys are gonna hear more chill music, and possibly other stuff as well, since the library is really gonna open up. The challenge of drawing tiny. And I do want to be able to do that because, as you guys can see in his in John Buscema's panels, he never misses an opportunity to make sure that things are still right. Look at it over here. It's tiny little details. Shape of the head, hands, the feet. It's still there. Still there. You know, so I really admire that. I really like that. Even despite such minuscule detail, that he still manages to capture anatomy. And as you guys can see, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier once everything is kind of set within its limits. What I mean is everything is proportionate once you sketch it out, right? You get this, the skeletal structure down, the pose, and then it's just fitting these basic shapes within those limits. As you guys saw, I wanted to fit it within this little area, this little space, so I sketched it out pretty light, and then from there just started playing around with that space, the amount of space that I established. I'm also going to try to fit one more in here. This is going to be quite challenging, but I'm going to do it. Starting out with a gesture drawing to establish limits. Set direction. Size. It's gonna bleed off the page a little bit just because I want the figure to really take up the space here. So even when I am doing this, when I am creating the skeletal structure, the stick figure, the beams to the building, if you want to think of it that way, I'm still paying attention. Like if I'm using a reference, I'm still paying attention to the relationship between objects. Like let's say in the reference, you know, this is the knee right here of the foot, of the leg, not the foot, the leg. This is the knee, then this is the rest of the leg. I'm still paying attention to like this is the arm, right? This is the elbow. And I'm paying attention to where the elbow is in relation to the knee on the reference and using that for my drawing. So the relationship between objects is one of the most important tools you can use when you're drawing, especially when you're drawing from reference. It's also great for when you're learning, when you're learning anatomy and you're trying to understand certain body parts. Like, for example, the relationship between the elbow and the waist. Where is it? Is the elbow much lower than where the waist is? The relationship between the fingers and the groin area. How much further down are the hands past the groin area? It's a way to establish the length of the arm, especially in this pose. So again, this is just using the relationship between objects, relationship between lines, if you want to put it even more simplified, to help better build the structure. And that right there is already a lesson in its own. It's usually, the hands are usually way more past the groin area. than they are leveled with it, or even and before it. That's always weird. It just doesn't look right. So yeah, going back to this is the stick figure process of it. Once that's established, I'm gonna start using basic shapes to establish body parts. And this is the butt. The leg. Which brings up another very important point, or what would I call them? It is a technique. But I'm gonna say, yeah, let's just say it's a technique, and it's paying attention to the angle of the lines in the reference. You know, for example, how much more inwards is this line for the leg? Should it be a little bit more outward? You know, going this way as opposed to in. So that's another really important aspect to compare from reference to your own drawing, because it changes everything. You change the balance of a drawing, you change the emotion of the drawing of the figure. It changed the language of the figure. Like, what is it conveying? Is it conveying more of an aggressive, or more of like toppling over, falling, you know, losing balance, or trying to lean into something? You know, all that, it's really important to consider. So pay attention to it. There are drawings that I've seen that were well done relatively, like where the detail was there, the anatomy was there, the colors were there, but because of the angle, because of how the direction the lines were going, it looked off balance. It kind of ruined the image. You know, you could see it went from being a really good image to one that's kind of broken, and doesn't make much sense. And this is a perfect example of that. I was flipping through this just to show you guys, like here, for example, the anatomy is right, you know, everything makes sense in terms of proportion, but simply because it's angled this way, it looks wrong. You know, it doesn't make sense unless it's like, for example, the person is in some sort of spell and they're about to fall backwards. You know, there's some sort of like standing still spell, and they're about to like fall plank style on their back. But yeah, just you could see how it breaks the image, right? Here it makes sense. It gives you the illusion that this figure is standing straight and standing still, and it's pretty well grounded, whereas the same exact pose, the same exact anatomy and everything, and just this angle tilt ruins it. It breaks the illusion of the drawing. So it's very important to pay attention to that. It can really make a world of a difference in your drawing. And those drawings that I did see that were pretty good, again, try to cover that up with lots of detail and so on and so forth. So whoever drew it, the artist, was banking on or hoping on that the viewers just won't really recognize, and they'll recognize how well everything else has been done. And that is true. It was recognized that how well it was done, but it still looks like some corner cutting, which really is a disservice to the artists. You know, they're still I want to say they're kind of like at a roadblock, and rather than trying to like punch through that roadblock. They're kind of tap dancing around it. You know, they're like, oh, well, maybe people won't notice this massive thing right in the middle of the road. But it's not always that. I'm sure there are cases where even artists might have overlooked it or hasn't really recognized that flaw yet. You know, just like, for example, when you're drawing and you think that it's coming out well, only to realize later that all these other mistakes that were there. And that's a thing that happens all the time to pretty much every artist. So it could be one of those things, or it could be another. You know, it could be what I was mentioning earlier, where they notice it, but they just don't want to address it, or it's a little too intimidating or frustrating to admit that that's something that needs to be worked on. You know, you have some people who are drawing and they don't want to tackle arms, so they hide the arm behind the back. You know, that's a really common one, right? Like, if you look at people who are just starting out to draw, that's such a common thing to do. Try to hide the mistake, whether it's behind the back or having it bleed off the page or something else. And, you know, it is fine from time to time when you do want to, like, when you like a drawing and you're just like, oh, I really want it to look nice. I wanted to, I worked so hard at it, I really want it to look good. And it's just this one thing that's kind of getting in the way. I get it, you know, sometimes you just want to praise the good work, praise the good outcome of other things that turned out well, rather than just being like, this whole drawing is terrible, and you know, being down on yourself. So I get that, but it can be tricky where you get caught up in that and just keep putting away this this next thing that you got to do, which is address it. You know, you got to address that you don't know how to draw arms, you don't know how to draw hands, and put a good amount of time like punching your way through that roadblock. Do it over and over again, you know, just like you came to a point of drawing something that you liked, that you're trying to, like, cover up or whatever. You will eventually get to that point with the roadblock as well, where you won't need to cover it up. You put in a good amount of time and you push your way past it or through it. That's a continuous challenge. That's like the beauty and the frustration of art. And it's something I face all the time as well. It's always that, what if it's not actually good? What if I'm going to be stuck at this stage forever, right? Like, that's like the gnawing thought in the back of the head. Like, what if I can't draw the arms right? What if they're always going to look ugly or something? Or I just don't get it and I'm probably not going to get it or something. You know, like that whole train of thought that always prevents people from really pushing past their limits or whatever else. And it's always going to, like, I think it's always going to be there because as an artist, as an illustrator, as somebody who likes the process of creating, just naturally you get better and better at things the more you do it. So you're always going to find new ways that you want to improve, or that you see flaw in. You're just like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like how this is coming out. I think I could do better. Or it's always been a problem and I want to get past that as well. So it's this kind of like emotional roller coaster, right? With like the entire process, you go through the phase of like, oh, maybe I won't be able to get past it. And then pushing your way through until you actually nail it. And then the next challenge comes about. It's like, yeah, I could draw arms now, but maybe I could even draw them even better. You know, the fingers look kind of wonky. Let me work on that. And that process starts all over again. Or you're just like, no, I don't get it, or it's not coming out right, or am I going to be stuck doing this? Am I even that good? You know, that whole train of thought. And I personally enjoy it. I enjoy that process. As frustrating as it gets, you know, that really, it kind of makes it fun. And I think over the years I just haven't been that frustrated with it. Like I just, I look at it always as like a new chapter, a leveling up stage. And I kind of get excited about it. The more you accept, I believe, the more you accept the artistic process as a journey, the more fun it becomes. The less you look at it as like some sort of race, right? The more fun it is, because it doesn't matter once you take that out of the equation. It becomes about you and the process. It becomes you and the subject of your drawing. It becomes you and trying to accomplish a certain goal. It's no longer a comparison. You're not like, oh, am I as fast as this person or that person or this favorite artist of mine, they did it like that and they did it in this amount of time and blah 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 blah. Like that kind of deviates from the beautiful experience of the process. Drawing, playing music, really developing your craft and focusing on that. It really changes everything. Once you do that. I was never a fan of competition when it came to illustration. I'm not a fan of competition at all. I think it's incredibly toxic. It's a really crappy system as a way to encourage people to learn, to improve. That's drilled into their head rather than the beauty of challenging yourself and accomplishments through your own challenges and what kind of results you can get from challenging yourself, that sort of thing, rather than being like, you're worse than this person, you know, why can't you be better than them, you know, like that whole train. And it really does line up with like fascist Nazi values. I don't really like that. I don't respect that direction in learning, or pretty much a lot of things. Can't think of any scenario where it's healthy or it's a good way to think and behave. And Jimi Hendrix is talking about that as well. If you guys missed it, there is an episode where I showed you guys an interview with Jimi Hendrix on the Dick Clarkson show way back then, and he talks about exactly that, how a lot of artists forget about the process. They started getting their heads inflated with ego and like, oh, I'm so great, and there's all these people who are admiring me and they think I'm great and so on, and then they forget about the beauty of music, the beauty of expressing yourself through music, and start focusing more on that like popularity aspect, appeasing the audience, that sort of thing, more than they do about the music, and just becomes overshadowed by it. It's just one point amongst many about how toxic things can get if you forget about the entire purpose of it, of the artistic process. And the beauty of the journey and that whole thing, rather than that whole like reward system and praise and recognition and all that other stuff. Not saying it's not fun. I'm just saying that shouldn't be the focus, and that the art itself, the creativity, that the journey, the process should always be in the forefront. It should overshadow pretty much everything else, to keep things going, to keep the creativity and the beauty of art alive. I don't think I could fit anything in here. I'm trying to see what else I could do in here to really fill up that page. Oh, look at the time, y'all. I actually almost missed it. Unfortunately, I do have to end the stream. I was going on a rant there. I didn't even realize it. I'm gonna have to end the stream for Drawing Basics for today. I will be back tomorrow. I'm gonna take a 5-minute break, and I will be back for Drawing Comics, which I will continue working on this panel and opening up a fresh new sketchbook. So stick around, y'all. I'll be back in 5. Bye.